evening and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points, news without the noise. We'll be bringing you the big story a day after the Enforcement Directorate arrests the Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut. Are all opposition states now on the ED radar? Or is this a cleanup? Or is the BJP a washing machine? That's going to be the big talking point on the news today. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9 tonight. Parliament debates price rise after days of disruption. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says India controlled inflation despite the pandemic, is still the fastest growing economy in the world. The opposition says the government is not answering questions on price rise. Congress MPs walk out. A political war breaks out over Shiv Sena's loudest voice, Sanjay Raut, being arrested. Uddhav Thackeray claims his close aide has been framed by the Enforcement Directorate. Raut will remain in ED custody for 3 more days. Agency says they have ample proof against him. No documents to show that Union Minister Smriti Irani or daughter owned a Goa restaurant, says the Delhi High Court, says there was an intent to malign and damage her reputation. The Congress has much to answer. Speculation rife over a political plot to topple the JMM-led Jharkhand government. FIR filed by Congress MLA accuses the 3 MLAs of bribery on the behest of Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma. Sarma denies the claim. Amidst the war between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar for Kaun Banega Congress's Mukhyamantri face, SR Patil now enters Karnataka Congress CM face race. Delhi goes dry due to the Aam Aadmi Party's excise policy flip-flop. Nearly 500 liquor shops shut, pubs and bars running short of booze. Massive fire breaks out in a Jabalpur hospital, charring 10 people to death. 2 are critically injured. Reliance Jio emerges as the top bidder in the 5G spectrum auction. A record of over rupees 1.5 lakh crore worth of 5G telecom spectrum sold in a 7-day auction. And India records its first death due to monkeypox. Death of a 22-year-old in Thrissur confirmed to be that of monkeypox as results from NIV Pune turned positive. But tonight, our top story is on the Enforcement Directorate. Now, in the 1970s, they would say income tax, IT, would spread fear among politicians. In the 21st century, it is ED, Enforcement Directorate. After a marathon grilling at his residence and then at the ED office, Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut was arrested late last night in connection with an alleged housing scam in Mumbai. The court has now sent Raut to ED custody till the 4th of August. But a political war has broken out. The Shiv Sena claims that their leader has been framed because he took on the BJP. The Enforcement Directorate claims that Raut has much to answer for. In a moment, we'll look at the bigger picture of how opposition-ruled states seem to be squarely under the ED's radar for now. And the question that will be asked, is this a cleanup? Or is the BJP acting like a washing machine using the ED? That's going to be the big talking point. But first, take a look at the rise and fall of Sanjay Raut, the Shiv Sena's loudest noise.
After 2 marathon rounds of grilling and raids in the Patra Chaul land scam case, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut is arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Right before the midnight arrest, Raut hugged his mother in front of television cameras. An emotional touch adding to what was already a dramatic chain of events.
Sanjay Raut झुकेगा नहीं ना पार्टी छोड़ेगा ना शिवसेना छोड़ेगा.
The ED claimed that Sanjay Raut and his wife got 1.06 crore rupees as proceeds of a crime in 3 payments. According to the ED, 55 lakh rupees was first allegedly received in Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut's bank account. Within a month, 37.50 lakh was allegedly received by Raut and his wife, who used the funds to purchase a flat. The agency claimed Avni Infrastructure, formed in the name of Varsha Raut and Madhuri Raut, wife of Praveen Raut, allegedly received 13.94 lakh rupees. The ED also alleged that Sanjay Raut bought land parcels in Alibag around Kihim Beach. It quoted a witness to allege 60 to 70% payments for the land deals was done in cash. The ED also alleged that between 2010 and 2014, Sanjay Raut received 2 lakh rupees per month in cash from Praveen Raut. Raut's lawyer argued in court that the MP was arrested due to political vendetta under changed political circumstances. He called ED's allegations speculative. The court has sent Raut to ED custody till August 4th.
The ED has got custody of Sanjay Raut but with riders. ED officials cannot interrogate Sanjay Raut at night due to his ill health. They must also ensure that the MP gets his medicine and he should be hospitalized if required. Raut can speak to his lawyers.
Cornered by the ED, Raut got support from his party chief. Uddhav Thackeray paid a visit to the Raut household in a mark of support and attacked the BJP and Shinde government.
मुझे संजय राउत पर अभिमान है और बाला साहब का असली सैनिक सिर्फ वो पिक्चर देखने के लिए ठीक है पुष्पा झुकेगा नहीं लेकिन ये झुका नहीं जो झुकने वाले थे वो हमाम में चले गए और झुकने वाला कभी शिवसैनिक नहीं हो सकता।
पॉलिटिकल सर्कस चल रही है और जो भी इस राज्य में चल रहा है वो डेमोक्रेसी को पकड़ के नहीं है, लोकशाही को पकड़ के नहीं है।
While Sena is crying vendetta, the central agency claims it has proved to nail the MP. The opposition, however, accuses the ED of inaction against BJP and Shinde Sena loyalists accused of corruption, including Union Minister Narayan Rane, Pratap Sarnayak and Yamini Jadhav. With Divyesh Singh in Mumbai and Munish Pandey in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Mumbai is a city where real estate is priceless, and most of these scams or alleged scams are linked to real estate. Sanjay Raut's alleged scam is no different. There was a particular chawl area, a low housing income area in Mumbai, where the tenants were moved out after promising them flats once the area is redeveloped. They were to get rent till the flats were handed over to them. Now, the residents claim not only did the rent stop coming, but the flats were nowhere near completion. What happened instead was allegedly a company, a Benami company in which Raut had interests, tied up with another building promoter and claimed they would build these flats. Instead, the money reportedly was siphoned out to Raut and his associates, or so the ED claims. What is the story? This is the Patra Chawl case, which has nailed the Shiv Sena's loudest noise. Take a look.
Tears in her eyes, Sharda Bhandari recounts the problems she has faced over the years.
नहीं जो कोई मतलब में काम करते उधर खाना देते हैं वो लोग थोड़ा वो खाते नहीं तो हम लोग पानी बिस्किट खा के दिन चलाते हैं.
Sharda stays in a small room with her daughter, a 10th standard student. Ever since her husband died, she's been forced to work in nearby homes for a living.
आप महीने में 5-6 हज़ार कमाते हो, 2000 स्कूल में चला जाता है, 2000 ट्यूशन चला जाता है.
हाँ महीने में भरती है ना मैं.
और 2000 यहाँ से आप किसी तरीके से अपना घर चलाते हो. आपके साथ एक 10th में जो बच्ची है वो भी है.
हाँ.
Sharda was evicted from her room in the chawl in 2008. For 6 years, she was compensated with a monthly payment. In 2014, the construction company which took over the land stopped the payments. After that, life went downhill for Sharda and her family. Naresh Sonawane and his wife Sheila were evicted from Patra Chawl in 2011. Their condition is very similar to Sharda's.
अभी सब बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है. अभी आउट पैसा किधर से भाड़ा किधर से तो घर कैसा चलो ये टेंशन में अभी बहुत कंटल गए. पत्रा चल ये लोग आज भाड़ा देंगे कल देंगे ऐसा कर कर हम लोग एक 1.5 साल से उनके घर में रह रहे कि तुमको हम कैसा तुम्हें भाड़ा करके देंगे डिपोजिट देंगे. इसलिए भी वो लोग लास्ट में बोले हम तुम हमें 1 महीना भर में घर खाली करो करके ऐसा रूम वाले बोल दिए हम.
Naresh, who works in a local garage, says that the family sold the little gold they had after their savings dried up. His wife says they've lost faith in the government.
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं भरोसा आ रहा है, क्या करेंगे? हाँ? जब तक चाबी नहीं मिल रहा है तब तक हम लोग भरोसा ही नहीं कर सकते कि हम लोग का काम चालू है करके.
In 2007, Guru Ashish Constructions, a sister concern company of HDIL, was awarded the contract for redevelopment of Patra Chaul by the Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority. Guru Ashish Constructions had to develop flats for 672 tenants of Patra Chaul, and about 3,000 flats had to be handed over to the authority. Guru Ashish Constructions did not redevelop the Patra Chaul or any other flats and sold floor space to around 8 other builders for 1,034 crore rupees. With Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut's arrest, the focus is back on Patra Chaul. The people are least concerned about who was responsible for their plight. All they want is a roof that was promised.
हम भी यही सोच रहे हैं कि जो चीज़ 2008 से शुरू हुई है, पानी सर के ऊपर जा चुका है, हर जगह पे उसी की चर्चा है. हर महाराष्ट्र की फिलहाल राजनीति इसी नाम पे चल रही है. हर कोई राजनीतिक फ़ायदा बटोरने के लिए इसी का नाम ले रहा है, लेकिन हमारा काम पूरा नहीं हो रहा.
With Pankaj Upadhyay in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, in the last 1 week, 3 opposition-ruled states have seen anti-corruption action. 3 Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were arrested over the weekend by the Bengal police with nearly 50 lakh rupees in cash. The Congress alleges the money came from Assam Chief Minister Hemanta Biswa Sarma for toppling the JMM Congress government. The Assam Chief Minister has rejected the charge, but questions still remain. Is an attempt being made to topple that government? Because the Chief Minister Soren, his trusted aide, Pankaj Mishra, was arrested by the ED in a money laundering scam. In Bengal, of course, the ED raided last week TMC leader Partha Chatterjee's friend Arpita Mukherjee's flats, recovered over 50 crore rupees. Partha Chatterjee has had to resign. In Maharashtra, as we've been saying, the ED has arrested Sanjay Raut in the Patra Chaul redevelopment scam. So the big questions that we are going to raise today: the Enforcement Directorate, is it the ED or the Enabling Directorate for the government? Is it gunning for opposition leaders? Is the opposition interfering in the due process of law? Why should corruption accused get any kind of leeway? Joining me now, Shehzad Poonawala, now the BJP star spokesperson, joins me. Dr. Shashi Panja is Minister West Bengal. Uttam Kumar Reddy is Congress Member of Parliament. Anand Dubey is the Shiv Sena spokesperson. Appreciate all of you joining us on the program today. Pehle chalte hain to Anand Dubey because the Shiv Sena is in the line of fire. You want to answer? Anand Dubey ji, ye bataiye. आप लोग कह रहे हैं ईडी की वजह से आपके नेता को जेल भेजा जा रहा है, लेकिन सच्चाई ये है कि स्कैम तो हुआ है. हमने स्टोरी आपके सामने रखी है पात्रा वाला स्कैम की. देयर कैन बी नो स्मोक विदाउट फायर. कुछ ना कुछ तो हुआ था जिसकी वजह से वो जेल में गए. वेंडेटा, बदला कोई एक्सक्यूज नहीं होता कोर्ट में. आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स, फैक्ट्स जो हैं वो दिखाते हैं कि संजय राउत ने जरूर कहीं ना कहीं उनको फायदा हुआ. मानते हैं कि नहीं?
देखिए, ऐसा है कि राजदीप जी, पत्रा वाला चाल घोटाला तो हुआ है, कोई दो राय नहीं है इसमें. पिछले 12-15 सालों से वहाँ के रहवासियों पर अन्याय हुआ, उन्हें घर नहीं मिला. बट इस घोटाले से संजय राउत जी का क्या संबंध? जब संजय राउत जी कह रहे हैं कि हाँ, मैंने कुछ पैसे जरूर लिए थे, लोन के तौर पर लिए थे, जिनमें से मैंने कुछ पैसे वापस भी कर दिए, बट भाई इस घोटाले से मेरा क्या संबंध है? क्या प्रवीण राउत का नाम राउत होने की वजह से मैं संजय राउत हूं, इसलिए आप इसको जोड़ रहे हैं? देखिए, ऐसा है कि ईडी का दुरुपयोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है, इससे अब कोई इनकार नहीं कर सकता. उसका कारण यह है कि पिछले 2-2.5 वर्षों से केंद्र की सरकार संजय राउत जी की जुबान को बंद करना चाहती थी और वो कंटिन्यू ये प्रयास कर रही थी कि संजय राउत को कैसे पकड़े, संजय राउत को कैसे परेशान करें. तो उन्होंने क्या किया कि एक 10-12-15 साल पुराने केस से उनको जोड़ा. लेकिन इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि वो दोषी हो गए. अरे भाई, आरोप लगे.
सर एक मिनट. ये बात भी सही है. There is a reported money trail. This is what the ED is claiming. Money trail है. Plots have been bought in Alibag. Plot was bought in Dadar, and the ED is claiming these are proceeds from what they are saying was the crime committed in Patrawala Chawl. This is, of course, everyone is innocent till proven guilty. ये देश का कानून है, लेकिन ये उनकी allegation है. पर मैं आपके पास फिर आऊंगा. I want to go to each of the opposition leaders and then come to Mr. Poonawala. To you, sir, Uttam Kumar Reddy. In Jharkhand, you all are now claiming that the ED is being used to topple your alliance government with Hemant Soren. But the fact again is that the charge is a serious one. That Hemant Soren allegedly has acquired a mine in his name while being the mining minister, and the proceeds of that are being used for Hemant Soren's personal gain. The facts again, according to the ED, is therefore that Hemant Soren will have to answer money laundering charges. Every time you blame the ED turns around and says, don't interfere with the law.
Rajdeep, can I speak?
Yes, please.
Okay,
please
Rajdeep. Sorry, you got cut off. Now, Rajdeep, see, Rajdeep, to you and to all your viewers, one thing is clear. I've been in public life for a long time. I mean, I'm a member of parliament now, but I've been a legislator, a minister for a long time. The weaponization of the enforcement directorate is being done so brazenly and shamelessly by the BJP government. This is unprecedented. To bring to your notice, remind you again, who is the director of the enforcement directorate? An IRS officer called Sanjay Kumar Mishra. Probably in the annals of Indian parliament history, an act has been brought to continue Sanjay Kumar Mishra as director of ED, even after Supreme Court had given a direction that his tenure should not be first extended further. So this shows how much the BJP government is controlling the ED. This gentleman was appointed in 2018. When he finished his tenure in 2020, he was given an extension of 1 year. After that, the Supreme Court said he should not be given any more extension. The BJP government got an ordinance 2 days before he retired, and then gave him an extension, and then made the ordinance into an act. So that is the history of the present director of the ED. Now the second point is, have you seen anywhere in this country the enforcement directorate in the recent past, charging any BJP leader or any of their allies with any money laundering? And now look at the number of raids the ED has done between 2014 to 22. They have done 3,010 raids compared to 112 searches in the 10-year period between 2004 and 14. Now, if you look at the number of cases and the conviction rate, 5,422 cases have been filed under the PMLA, and only 23 persons convicted, that is less than 0.5%. Now, Rajdeep, what I'm coming to is, using the ED, the BJP government is trying to humiliate, pressurize the opposition leaders. The process is the punishment. They also know, since these are not innocent, can never be proven in a court of law, they will be acquitted. So they're making the process as a punishment.
Okay.
Very unfortunate. The BJP government has, weaponized the ED to harass political parties.
You said that earlier, and I will give each one exact time before I come to Mr. Poonawala. Now you, Dr. Panja, because the Trinamool Congress has also claimed this, that the process is the punishment earlier, that the ED is being used to target our leaders. But the fact is, cash was found. The large mounds of cash found at the aid of your minister Partho Chatterjee last week eventually forced you to make him resign. Which means, I come back to it, there is no smoke without fire in all these cases. Whether it's Mr. Raut, whether it's Mr. Soren, whether it's now Mr. Chatterjee, why not accept that? Rather than say that the ED is targeting only our leaders, they are targeting you because they have found the cash on your leaders. They've found the money laundering trail.
Yes, Rajdeep, I agree with that. But what we do not agree with is the additional agenda. We also want the ED to investigate every case of corruption in the country. But there seems to be only an additional agenda, which is very naked and very blatant. Unfortunately, the law enforcement agencies are selectively harassing, and we've said this before, that they are selectively harassing the non-BJP states and the leaders. What we just want to submit is, in fact, in West Bengal, just 2 days back, and you were questioning the Congress spokesman, that 3 MLAs of the Jharkhand Congress, belonging to the Jharkhand state of Jharkhand, they were caught with cash in Howrah, one of our districts in West Bengal. This was an MLA car, the car with the MLA nameplate, and they were caught. And there have been reactions to it from the Congress. Now, most importantly, the reaction which has come from a Congress leader, MLA, I think his name is Mr. Singh of Burmo. And he has submitted a letter to the police station complaining that he was being lured to take money and probably promised an important ministerial berth in the future if he helps BJP to overturn the government. And by none less than he's mentioned the name of the Chief Minister of Assam, Hemant Biswa Sharma. Now, what we are trying to say is that there is money found out here. CID is investigating. There is a trail out here. And there is a proper letter of submission of an MLA pointing to a BJP Chief Minister. So why doesn't ED step into this investigation? So that is very funny that certain people and certain parties...
I think all three of you are making the same point more or less. You are claiming that the ED is being selective. You are claiming ED is being weaponized. You are claiming your leaders in the case of the Shiv Sena are being targeted as part of vendetta. You've heard these arguments, Shehzad Poonawalla, respond to them. Because now this is becoming a constant refrain. Enforcement Directorate is an enabling directorate for this government to either topple governments or to settle scores of the opposition. Respond, please.
It's not an enabling department, Rajdeep. They think it is entitlement of Dinos to do dacoity. This entitlement of Dinos to do dacoity need to have a such ka samna today. Because, see, I'm missing the 4th pillar of corruption. 3 pillars of corruption are there. The 4th pillar of corruption is the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, what is their entire political slogan? Bhrashtachar is my adhikar. Bhrashtachar hum karte rahenge. This is our shishtachar. If you do any inquiry, it will become atyachar and we'll do durachar. Let me give you evidence one by one. Firstly, Uttam Reddy ji said no action has been taken by ED on BJP. This is PTI report, Jan 4, 2021. ED attaches 2.7 crore worth assets of Surat BJP leader. Please see, Rajdeep, I've got news report. Income tax raids on close age of BSY's son, Mr. Yediyurappa's son, BJP loyalist. This is October 2021. So this allegation that it's acting selectively does not hold. But let's go not by, one second, just let me complete fully because it will otherwise be a problem. Let's go not by allegation, but by Adesh of court. Adesh of court has come in Aam Aadmi Party's case. They also cry the same thing. One Adesh, ignore the health report of LNJP hospital. Second Adesh in 2019 August that he did hawalabazi. Third...
You're referring to Satyendra Jain.
Satyendra. I'm coming to all of them one by one. Third, by the lower court just 2 days ago that there's sufficient prima facie evidence to charge Mr. Jain of involvement in money laundering and cognizance is taken of the charge sheet. Fourth is the hawala funds were used to purchase agricultural land. Then a High Court order on 27 July saying he had a criminal background, Kejriwal should decide. So court decided on this matter. Secondly, let's come to the case of Mr. TMC party, the too much corruption party. Court came up with Calcutta High Court division bench order came in 2022, which Mamata Banerjee challenged. In that, Adhikari's daughter's appointment was also cancelled. What action did they take on them? Secondly, today, it is your own channel, India Today. This evidence has been put out today, this morning on India Today. Arpita in a TMC function, this is India Today report, with Partha and education ministry envelopes found with her and Mamata Banerjee praising her. Now come to Congress party and to Shiv Sena also partly. This is NCP leader Ajit Pawar. You know Marathi also, and Ajit Pawar has said this statement today. Indian Express, and this is Times now, I'm sure you take it credibly. When asked about Sanjay Raut, he says that yes, investigations take place, but why Sanjay Raut is being investigated again and again, only he can answer and agencies have a right to probe. If this was a vindictive case, why is NCP today saying no, Mr. Raut has to answer? And last point I would want to say about Mr. Uddhav Thackeray and company. Uddhav Thackeray had said about Sachin Waze कि Osama bin Laden है क्या? When Nawab Malik case also they said the same thing. You remember? Special court has said Nawab Malik has links with Dawood Ibrahim. Court has denied him bail. Court has denied Satyendra Jain bail. Today, court has denied bail. Last sentence. Last sentence.
No, you are saying in all these cases, the courts have, in a way, backed the ED action.
Just last 10 seconds. I promise 10 seconds, then they can continue. Now, Mr. Uttam Reddy made a very important point. He said that, look, what has the ED done? 2014, by the way, sir, the akada you have given, the figures you gave, there were no convictions till 2014, and 2014 to 2022, there have been 23 convictions. So you have actually shown what you are doing with the ED. The ED was used as a weapon at a time when it was castigated as being a cage parrot for the CBI.
That was the CBI was used.
CBI and all other agencies.
Okay, you made your point now. I want to... No, 1 minute, sir.
Fair enough. No
Very
problem.
quickly, because you see, you must not tell half the story. Why are we debating this? This is the story. Look at in Maharashtra. What Sanjay Raut has been arrested. Take a look at this. Bhavna Gavli is the MP of the Shinde Sena.
Correct.
She has skipped 5 ED summons. She is now the chief whip. Suddenly the ED case on her seems to have gone slow.
Okay.
Yashwant Jadhav and his MLA of the Shiv Sena, Yamini Jadhav, under the ED probe for FEMA violations. Now with the Shinde Sena, no sign of the ED acting against them. Anand Arsul, ex-Shiv Sena MP, now with the Shinde Sena, under ED probe in a cooperative bank. No action now being taken against him. Pratap Sarnaik, Shiv Sena's Shinde MLA, raided by the ED in money laundering case. Now with the Sena, we don't know what's happened in the case. Arun Khotkar, only this weekend, has shifted to the Sena. Assets worth 78 crores were attached by him. He has gone on record to say he was told if he switched sides, things would be well. Kripa Shankar Singh, booked by the police for corruption when he was in the Congress. ED probe delayed the moment he quit the Congress in the BJP. Narayan Rane, Union Minister, accused of a 300 crore money laundering racket by the BJP itself when he was in the Congress, is now a minister in Modi government. I can give many such cases, Mr. Poonawala. The fact, therefore, is the BJP is being accused of being a laundry or washing machine. The ED has selective standards. Why are all these cases not interrogated?
Can I answer in 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
I wish, Rajdeep, when your producer made so much effort to put these graphics, he would have also put what Uddhav Thackeray said about Pratap Sarnaik, what Uddhav Thackeray said about Bhavna Gavli just at that time when these cases were initiated. Would you want to put those graphics? Secondly, they gave clean sheet. They said ये प्रताड़ित किए जा रहे हैं center के द्वारा.
Why are they not being prosecuted, Mr. Poonawala?
Rajdeep, my friend, I am answering. Where am I running away? I am here only. Secondly, I am saying ED, मोदी, CBI सब बहुत खराब, शहजाद पूनावाला भी बहुत खराब. इनके पास तो सारे एविडेंस है ना. एक कोर्ट से आदेश लिया है ना. हम तो कह रहे हैं, मैंने तो कोर्ट के आदेश गिने. I have only shown the court orders against each of these gentlemen who are involved in घोटाला. So if they have any evidence against Pratap Sarnaik, Bhavna Gavli, so and so, whom they used to defend till just 2 weeks ago, this Dubey ji used to only come and defend. If they have the proof, please go to court. Tomorrow night we'll organize a debate. Rajdeep will say, Shahzad Poonawala, look, you had the evidence, but you didn't take action. Mr. Dubey has got a court order. Now answer.
You want the opposition to go to the court now and get a court order against these leaders? Why is preferential treatment?
I am saying go to the court. I hope they have faith in court. Because in some matters they don't have faith in court. In Yaqub Memon they didn't have.
So you're saying please go to the court. Uttam Kumar Reddy,
go ahead and get it done.
Uttam Kumar Reddy, according to Shehzad Poonawala, if you all believe the ED is selective, go to the court and get favorable orders against these leaders.
Surely, Rajdeep, I mean, anybody who's gone to court after some time has got relief. In fact, I mean, I don't know what kind of a reply that was, but out of 5,422
if you believe that an investigation is malicious or if you believe an investigation is selective, please go to the court.
Important. No. See, definitely they'll go to the court and definitely the courts will give relief. But the process, I mean, Rajdeep, you're aware that the standard for bail has been set very high. Then the properties which are attached will take a long time to be released. There is a harassment in the whole process, and that is what the BJP is trying to do. Now, mainly, Rajdeep, I'd like to repeat earlier, why is this Sanjay Kumar Mishra, who's a director of the Enforcement Directorate, I have never heard that the Indian Parliament has brought in a new law, a new act to bypass Supreme Court orders not to give him an extension. I mean, this is unheard of.
I will let
For
Shehzad
one
respond to
single
that. You
officer
made that
to be
point
given
earlier, sir.
extension.
He deserves a response. It
Yeah.
deserves a response. You brought in an ordinance 2 days before an officer was to retire to change the law of the land to allow him to continue as the ED director. I mean, that suggests at least prima facie that he was being propped up there because he was serving the BJP's interests at the time. Please respond to that. An ordinance to give an extension to a specific officer to change the law of the land. Your response, Shehzad.
You know, a party which has had the chief election commissioner become a minister in their government should not sit on such a high horse of morality. But having said that, with due respect
to this question,
why what about it? It's reminding them of what their legacy and past is. But Mr. Reddy, we are all mature people. I heard you out. Mr. Reddy, when was the appointment of Mr. Mishra done as ED chief? Just answer in one line. When was it done?
November 2018.
One second.
No, 1 minute.
Okay, sir, let me have a conversation. He's the opposition. May I have a conversation? Sir, from then to now, if it was so blatantly violative of the Constitution, it threw into garbage the Supreme Court's guidelines, Chidambaram ji could not get an order. Abhishek Manu Singh, we couldn't get an order. I am saying don't trust us, sir. You anyways don't trust us. Why don't you get this stuff done from the courts? And why don't you tell us every night on television that, look, you're vindictive, you're malicious, you're selective, and you go against the law. 1 second, sir. Now let me complete. For the sake of God, for the sake of God, Mr. Reddy, for the sake of God, sir, you've been in the Air Force. Sir, you've been in the Air Force. Discipline is key. Please, sir, I am speaking, you speak after.
No, you have not answered the question.
I have answered the question in the best manner.
An term is to end, an ordinance is brought through Parliament.
Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, you and...
Mr. Reddy, just a minute, Mr. Reddy, let him answer. He deserves to answer.
Mr. Reddy's and Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai...
He's got 3 against 1, he deserves to answer. Please go ahead.
Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai's and Reddy ji's partisan, and not yours, but his partisan selective view of a particular appointment does not cut the ice of constitutionalism. He has to go and put his money where the mouth is. He has to go to a court of law and get it challenged, like we got many appointments challenged. But having said that, today I'm saying everything if done against Mr. Sanjay Raut was fake. I'm reading what the court said. Careful perusal of the statements recorded under Section 50 PMLA prima facie refer to a trail of money and the accused. Is the court of law also working on our directions? And these observations, these findings have come against Satyendra Jain. One of your sathis, the 4th pillar of corruption, said, "Kattar imandar hai ji." 2 महीने से कट्टर ईमानदार को बेल नहीं मिला है. 3 courts of law have ruled against him. Where is Mr. Kejriwal except for that?
Why have they
Where is
given
the morality of corruption against fighting against corruption?
Let's take that. No, Mr. Reddy, just a minute. Let's take that also to Shashi Panja. Shashi Panja, the challenge is being thrown in a way by the government that if you believe these are malicious prosecutions, these are selective prosecutions, please go to the court and set them aside. Everyone must eventually face the court of law. If they are really malicious, the court of law will throw them out. I know it might take time, but that's the way to do it.
So he means to say that we will do the hard work and ED will not take cognizance when there are obvious instances of money trail. Is that so? Is that what, he said this before in previous shows also, when we asked him about the BJP washing machine, that why is Shubhendu Adhikari, once he enters into the BJP washing machine, the CBI or the ED stops his investigations. I mean, it never even started.
1 minute, no.
No, it never started. So, if Mr. Poonawalla is talking about morality, so let's talk about morality. Has the Prime Minister taken any action against, or the respected state Chief Minister has taken any action against the Gujarat Rural Panchayat Development Minister who was alleged to have committed rape? He has confined some women. Were there any actions taken by the UP Chief Minister when the Home Minister's son ran over the farmers? So don't talk about morality to us.
No, 1 minute.
You are not sitting at the pulpit.
The MOS Home son is at the moment in custody. But the point is, whether
the morality
the
is
point, ma'am, is if you believe that Shubhendu Adhikari has been let off, why don't you go to the court? Why doesn't the West Bengal Government Council go to the court and say that Shubhendu Adhikari also deserves to be investigated?
Of course. I mean, they're so blatant. There is evidence on, you are showing me evidence about Parthu Chatterjee. There is evidence of Shubhendu Adhikari. In fact, the person who is accused, Sudipta Sen, who is behind bars, he is also alleging how much money he has given to Shubhendu Adhikari. But apparently nobody takes cognizance. A prisoner, of somebody who's in
No,
jail,
1 minute.
he is alleging. And that's why, what has happened is ultimately these BJP leaders have got empowered and they have the audacity to say that Maharashtra government has been toppled, next it will be Jharkhand, then it will be
These are all
Telangana,
political.
then it will
Okay,
be Chhattisgarh,
No,
then
1
it will
minute,
be,
Shehzad.
then it
Okay, you
will
made
be
the point, ma'am.
West Bengal.
ओके यू मेड द पॉइंट। अभय दुबे जी, आपको भी कहना है ये कि आप कोर्ट, देखिए कोर्ट का मामला है। अगर आपको वाकई लगता है कि संजय राउत को फंसाया जाता है, कोर्ट है इस देश में। आपको, चलिए बीजेपी में विश्वास नहीं है, ये एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट का पूरा फायदा उठा रहे हैं, कोर्ट का क्या आपको लगता है कोर्ट भी बीजेपी के साथ है?
बहुत सही सवाल आपने कहा। कुछ महीने पहले एक केस हुआ था एनसीबी का, जो नारकोटिक्स डिपार्टमेंट का है, आर्यन खान के ऊपर 27 दिन जेल में रहने के बाद न्यायालय उस लड़के को बरी करती है, बाइज्जत बरी करती है और कहती निर्दोष है। ठीक है, अगर आप बीजेपी की ये मंशा है कि पहले हम आप पर केस करेंगे, आपको बदनाम करेंगे, आपको कुछ दिन जेल में रखेंगे, न्यायालय प्रक्रिया होगी, फिर आप उसमें निर्दोष हो जाना, बरी हो जाना, अगर इतनी लंबी प्रक्रिया से हमें गुजरना है तो गुजरेंगे। लेकिन महाराष्ट्र के बीजेपी के उन 1 दर्जन नेताओं पर भी यही प्रक्रिया यदि हो जाती, सुबह 7 बजे उन नेताओं के घर पर भी रेड हो जाती, उनको भी यही प्रक्रिया से गुजरना होता, तो हमें लगता कि सौतेला व्यवहार नहीं हो रहा।
तो इसी तो यही बात हो गई शहजाद। इट इज कमिंग बैक टू दिस दैट इफ टुडे ऑल द नेम्स दैट आई हैव साइटेड फ्रॉम नारायण राणे टू भावना गवली, if the enforcement directorate was to tell the people of this country, at the end of the day you have to tell the citizens of the country that everyone is equal before the law. It cannot be that if I join the BJP or I'm associated with the BJP, the ED will not prosecute me. That is the anecdotal evidence. I've given it to you. You prove me wrong and you will have every right to say that this government truly means what the Prime Minister says, na khaunga na khane dunga. Otherwise it means हमारे लोग खाएंगे, अगर दूसरे खाएंगे तो हम उनको फंसा देंगे.
No,
that's what it has become.
Rajdeep, anecdotal evidence can't supplant constitutional precedents. So I am saying that if there is any case worth its salt about any of these people, including other lists of people, they might add my name also, you must go to a court of law and prove it one way or the other. But point number 2 that I'm trying to make is that look, this action on people who are corrupt is not like monkey balancing an editorial line. कि थोड़ा इसको रगड़ दिया तो थोड़ा इसको भी रगड़ना है, थोड़ा आम आदमी पार्टी को ये किया तो अभी थोड़ा सा बीजेपी को करना है. It's not monkey balancing of an editorial line. Let me complete. I'll explain why. Miss Shashi Panja is coming here and telling me all this. You want to hear? Your Bengali is good, I hope. I'll hear you. Make you hear what Miss Mamta Banerjee says about courts. Please hear. Please hear.
Mr. Poonawala, don't mislead.
No, please keep quiet now.
No,
Please keep quiet. Why can I not play? She is saying BJP is controlling the courts of law. This person comes and says that we have faith in courts. She does not have faith in courts. I am saying we are all corrupt, we are all very bad. Modi ji is very bad, Amit Shah ji is very bad, Shehzad is very bad. You go to a court of law and prove it. No, because we went to court of law. By the way, the entire Sonia Gandhi. One second, sir, please. Rajdeep, just don't be. Rajdeep.
Sir, you're being a little disingenuous because the Enforcement Directorate or the CBI has to start the investigation and take it to the
yes. Now let me.
Then the courts.
Now let me tell you.
You want the courts to do the job only in the case of the BJP.
By the way, Rajdeep.
No, I'm asking.
Yes, I'm answering.
Give me a direct answer.
I'm answering with proof. Rajdeep, the entire National Herald matter started with a private criminal complaint filed by Subramaniam Swamy in a court of law, and then agencies got to get into it. There was no complaint that was filed that ED or CBI took cognizance of. So, by the way, we have also adopted that route. Why doesn't any of the worthy members with such stalwart lawyers whom you interview many times, Sonia Gandhi's lawyer, Rahul Gandhi's lawyer, why don't they go to court of law and they prove that look, this is happening which is unfair, vindictive, malicious, selective, Modi ji bahut kharab hai. Why don't they do it anymore?
Okay, Uttam Kumar
8 years they couldn't do it.
I'm giving you one more time to answer that question. It's a direct question. You have got these top lawyers. You believe that the ED is being misused. Go to the court and give this, file a complaint that the ED is being misused to harass and target us.
Rajdeep, especially in respect to the Gandhis. This has been discussed several times earlier. We will just go through the way they have gone through this summons procedure. It was just to show them down, kind of harass them. Otherwise, you can imagine on a matter like that, Shehzad Poonawalla should respond. Not a single rupee of transaction has taken place from any person to any person. The Gandhi family has not benefited even
Sir, I
one
asked
rupee
you
of the
the larger
property.
question.
Now,
There
one
is a
minute.
belief that in state after state, the ED is harassing only opposition leaders. Why don't you all file a criminal complaint? Why don't you all take this to the court and question the whole credibility of the ED, the way the director was appointed? All of this, go to the court, and if you get a favorable order...
By the way, they did it, and the Supreme Court ruled on their fact that, no, it was on the ED validity of various provisions. They got a fatkar from the court.
No, that is in the PMLA case.
Who went to court? Please name the petitioners.
Yes.
Please name the petitioners.
The petitioners included Karti Chidambaram.
And what relief did they get?
No, that's a different case.
None. Zero.
On the ED directors, on ED director tenure, the matter
You
is
went to
coming
challenge
up
the
before
powers
Chief
of the ED
Justice.
under various sections of the PMLA. You got no relief, sir. Please, let's have a discussion on why you guys engage in corruption. And when they are caught, then you say that this is not, there should be no investigation. That should be the fundamental debate. That when are you going to sack Mr. Delhi's Partha, Satyendra Jain? When are you going to sack Mr. Sanjay Raut, who is Maharashtra's Uddhavji's Partha? When are you going to sack the other Parthas of TMC, including Mr. Adhikari, who has been named in the High Court order? This should be the question. कि भ्रष्टाचार करेंगे, शिष्टाचार बताएंगे, अत्याचार चिल्लाएंगे? ये क्या चला रखा है?
Absolutely not. भ्रष्टाचार सिर्फ नॉन बीजेपी में हो रहा है ना, बीजेपी में नहीं हो रहा है ना.
Madam, go and prove your case. One case. I challenge you.
You show me an example beyond even भ्रष्टाचार where you've told your ministers to resign. Give me one example where
I'll give you one
any of
example.
the
She has asked you one
BJP
example. मैं
ruled
example
states
दे
have
देता हूँ.
done-
Rajdeep,
only
you would
one example,
remember.
sir.
I'll give you an example, madam. The minister's son was involved in the matter in Uttar Pradesh. The SIT of the Uttar Pradesh government took a stand against him, and stringent provisions were invoked against him, and he is in jail today. He is in jail today.
Can I ask you though? Just a minute, ma'am. Ma'am, just a minute. Can I ask you though, Reddy brothers? No, Reddy brothers accused by the BJP itself of corruption when they were not on your side have been completely, virtually given a clean chit. Mr. Yediyurappa himself, against whom there were serious charges, land and mining scam, continued as chief minister even as those allegations continued. Therefore, the perception, Shehzad, final point, the perception is, yes, the ED must act against the corrupt. Whether Sanjay Raut is involved or anyone in any scam, let's be clear, they must be prosecuted. But, if you switch sides, and I've given several examples, it cannot be suddenly that you become a washing machine. Then the credibility and the faith in the legal process is diminished. Do you concede or not that you need to change this perception? Is the BJP willing to do that or not?
Rajdeep, you know, I am so against people just throwing allegations at each other. I'll give you an example of it. One of them was done against Smriti Irani ji. Today, what the court has said about these two people who are making allegations about an 18-year-old. You know, so let's ignore all allegations. BJP, Congress, AAP, Trinamool. Let's only go by court ke aadesh. I say let's set that as a standard. जिसके खिलाफ कोर्ट का आदेश उस पर कार्रवाई. If they get a court का आदेश against my leaders, we'll do कार्रवाई. But if they only make allegation, we'll make allegation. They'll make allegation. Every day one allegation. Then allegations
Sir, the
cannot
court
be
will only give an order when there is an honest, transparent, fair investigation done. When there is no honest, fair, transparent investigation done,
then,
when there is a slipshod investigation done, then you want the court to give an order. It won't happen.
If there is no honest, fair, transparent investigation done, which has come to a conclusion, then on what basis they are jumping to conclusion?
Okay, on that point, I think we've heard every side. I think perception matters in politics as much as facts. The facts at the moment clearly suggest that the opposition has much to answer for in most of these cases, because in most of these cases there is hard evidence against them. Perception clearly suggests that the BJP is allowing those who are close to them to get away from that same fair and transparent investigation. Investigations cannot be selective. No one who is involved in money laundering must escape the law. But it cannot be that if I switch sides, money laundering on one side becomes a washing machine on the other. That is where the problem lies today in our system. Think about it. That was, of course, my take there. Thank you all very much for joining me. Let's turn from there to the other big story, because after days of disruption, the Lok Sabha today finally debated inflation, price rise, an issue that affects us all. It took us 2 weeks. Here are the excerpts from that long-awaited debate.
जो सबसे अमीर 92 भारतीय हैं, उनके पास उतना धन है जिसका 55 करोड़ भारतवासियों के पास है। इससे बड़ी असमानता इस देश में नहीं हो सकती। और इसका सबका शुरुआत, इस सब की शुरुआत 8 नवंबर 2016 को हुई थी, जब एनडीए भाजपा सरकार ने बगैर सोचे समझे इस देश में नोटबंदी जारी कर दी थी। 15,31,000 करोड़ रुपया डिमोनेटाइज हुआ था और उसमें से 99% जो पैसा है 15,41,000 करोड़ रुपया डिमोनेटाइज हुआ था। 15,31,000 करोड़ रुपया उसमें से वापस जो बैंकिंग सिस्टम है उसमें आ गया। आपने जो रोजमर्रा की चीजें हैं उसके ऊपर जीएसटी बढ़ा दिया, आटे के ऊपर, पनीर के ऊपर, दही के ऊपर, शाही के ऊपर, पेंसिल के ऊपर, शार्पनर के ऊपर। आपने तो बच्चों को भी नहीं छोड़ा। और जो हास्यास्पद बात यह है कि आपने जीएसटी चमचों और कड़छियों पे भी बढ़ा दिया। और दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात यह है, जिससे मेरे मन को आहत हुआ, कि जो शमशान घाट है, शमशान घाट के निर्माण के ऊपर भी आपको 18% जीएसटी लगाने की जरूरत पड़ गई। किस तरह का मुल्क बना रहे हैं हम? जैसे माननीय सुषमा स्वराज जी जब यहां बैठती थी, वो कहा करती थी कभी कि गृहिणी के आंसू बह रहे हैं। आज सही में माननीय सभापति, हर गृहिणी के आंसू बह रहे हैं। इतनी कमर तोड़ महंगाई आपने कर दी है।
अभी ये सोचना चाहिए कि ईंधन में आग लगा है। कभी कभी मेरे मन में आता है कि ये सरकार बहादुर क्या हमें कच्चा खाने का आदत दिलाना चाहते हैं? कच्चा खाने का दूसरा मतलब कोई मत समझो कि दूसरा कोई मतलब है। मैं कहती हूँ कि ये सब्जी अगर मैं कच्चा खा जाती हूँ क्योंकि ईंधन नहीं मिलता है, तो वही कच्चा खाने का बात कर रही हूँ, क्योंकि एलपीजी सिलेंडर ये चंद महीनों में 4 बार एलपीजी सिलेंडर का दाम बढ़ा।
आज निशिकांत दुबे जी जब कह रहे थे, बड़े बड़े नंबर्स और 60 सालों की बहुत अच्छा हिस्ट्री लेक्चर सुनाया उन्होंने, बहुत सारी बातें 60 साल की बोली उन्होंने। लेकिन अभी उनको भी वहाँ बैठे 8 साल हो गए। मैंने पिछली बार एक बार बोला था, फिर दोहराना नहीं चाहती थी, लेकिन उनका 60 साल का हिस्ट्री का लेक्चर इतना लंबा चला, मुझे सिर्फ उनको याद दिलाना एक बार कि 8 साल बहुत होते। मुझे उनके शब्द सुषमा जी के याद है, जो आज इनके भाषण पे पूरे लागू होते। ट्रेजेडी की भाषा आम आदमी नहीं समझता। आम आदमी केवल वो भाषा समझता है उसके जेब से क्या निकल रहा है और उसके बदले में उसको क्या मिल रहा है।
ये 1,44,000 करोड़ का 1,44,000 करोड़ का इन्होंने ऑयल बॉन्ड जारी किया सर। और आज 2020 के बाद से भारत सरकार को 10 साल का बॉन्ड था, वो 2011 के बाद जितने भी हुए, आज आप समझिए कि हम लोगों को लगभग 3.5 लाख करोड़, 1,44,000 करोड़ जनता को गुमराह करने के लिए, बचाने के लिए कि हम पेट्रोल, डीजल और एलपीजी का प्राइस कम कर रहे हैं। आज 3.5 लाख करोड़ भारत सरकार को लौटाना पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि सरकार कंटिन्यूटी है। और वो सभी बड़े कॉर्पोरेट हैं जिन्होंने ऑयल बॉन्ड लिया है, वो सारे बड़े कॉर्पोरेट हैं। और मैं कांग्रेस के सभी मित्रों को चैलेंज करना चाहता हूं कि वो अपने, मनमोहन सिंह जी हैं, सोनिया जी यूपीए की चेयरमैन है, उनसे पूछे कि किस अमीर को आपने फायदा पहुंचाने के लिए देश के लोगों को इस तरह से गुमराह किया, देश के लोगों के साथ धोखा किया। प्रत्येक साल भारत सरकार को 20 से 25,000 करोड़ रुपया लौटाना पड़ रहा है।
Mr. Dubey, you will be astonished to learn that both interest and principal taken together between 2014 and 2022 that has been repaid by way of oil bonds is only 93,600 crores. So 27 lakh crores, 93,000 crores, the total payment made towards oil bonds from the revenue collected is 3.4%. 3.4%. So therefore, please do not keep telling us that oil prices are going up because we have to service oil bonds. That's not an accurate description.
आपने महंगाई की बात की, आपने गरीबों की बात की, आपने कई आंकड़े प्रस्तुत किए, आपने ये भी कहा कि आंकड़ों से पेट नहीं भरता। सुप्रिया सूले जी ने, माननीय सदस्य जी बहुत वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं, और बिल्कुल सही कहा उन्होंने कि आंकड़ों से पेट नहीं भरता है। मैं बताता हूं पेट कैसे भरता है। मैं जाता हूं पेटो पंचायत, मैं जाता हूं रामपुर पंचायत, मैं जाता हूं देहर पंचायत, मैं सब अपने जिले के पंचायतों में घूमता हूं और मैं वहां जाता हूं तो वही गांव देहात के लोग कह रहे हैं कि हमारा पेट माननीय सरकार, माननीय मोदी जी ने भरा है, क्योंकि आज हर कोई को, और इतने महीनों से, इतने सालों से कोविड का जब यह आपदा आई, हम लोगों ने गरीब कल्याण योजना के तहत सबको मुफ्त अनाज खिलवाया और उनको जो जो उनकी जरूरतें थी वो हम लोगों ने उनको प्रावधान उनको हम लोगों ने करवाया है।
Pandemic, second wave, Omicron, India, Russia, Ukraine, supply chain, even today largest supply component suppliers around in China still under lockdown in several areas. In spite of that, we have held the inflation well within 7 or even below, and that has got to be recognized. Central government has reduced customs duty on crude palm oil from 35.75, Adirji suniye, 35.75% to first 8.25 and now to 5.5% only. So drastically bringing down the duty and making it possible to bring edible oil, in this case palm oil, so that common people and their edible prices, oil prices can come down. A Bloomberg survey which was done by economists has said that zero probability of India slipping into recession. So it's not just me saying, there is zero probability of India slipping into recession. This morning we have announced the GST collection for the entire month of July. July 22, we have garnered the second highest level ever since the introduction of the GST, which is 1.49 lakh crores. Second highest.
So the Parliament finally got the time to discuss price rise. We'll also take a closer look at that price rise debate tomorrow with plenty of fact checking for you tomorrow night. But for now, it's time for another break. On the other side, our Good News Today story. It comes today from Lucknow. You're watching the News Today. News without the noise.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events, the true story of our times.
To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be.
From those who matter,
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter, I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth.
The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again.
I hustle for the truth, on the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs.
I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Chaudhary. At these times, only on India Today.
तो इस वक्त हमारे साथ हैं बिंदिया रानी, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स की सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट 55 kg वेट कैटेगरी में। बिंदिया, आपका पहला कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स और सिल्वर मेडल, कैसे एक्सप्लेन करेंगे अपनी खुशी को?
आज मेरा ये लाइफ का गेम से इसमें मेरा सिल्वर मेडल आया, इसके लिए मैं बहुत आई एम सो फील वेरी हैप्पी। मेरा फर्स्ट लाइफ के लिए सिल्वर मेडल आया, इसके लिए मैं बहुत
खुश है।
खुश।
मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था कि एक एथलीट बनने के पीछे आपने कितनी कड़ी मेहनत की, किन किन चुनौतियों का आपको सामना करना पड़ा, चाहे वो परिवार की बात रही हो, चाहे आप खुद आपने किस तरीके से ना अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाया वो।
और ये मेरा कोचों ने भी बहुत हेल्प किया और टॉप्स और साई ने बहुत हेल्प किया। उसके बाद मेरा कोच विजय शर्मा प्रमोद सर, वो लोग ने अभी भी ट्रेनिंग में पूरा मेरा टेक्निक थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, इसके लिए रूम हमने अभी इधर बताया, फिर रूम में जाके सौ की सोचना है। सालों ने ये बताया, ये ऐसे बोला, मैंने सालों का एडवाइस मैंने दिमाग से लगाया, इसके लिए वो सालों ने बहुत हेल्प किया।
स्नैच में आप थोड़ा सा अभी आपको लगता है कि थोड़ा सा और इम्प्रूव करने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि हमने देखा कि आप क्लीन एंड जर्क में बेहतर कर रहे थे, लेकिन स्नैच में थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम थी, उस पर आप कैसे काम कर रहे हैं?
मैं स्नैच भी अभी तो कभी कभी अच्छा किया, तो क्लीन जर्क तो कॉम्पिटिशन में ट्रेनिंग में इतना फेल नहीं है। स्नैच तो थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, तो प्रॉब्लम तो अभी तो ठीक चल रहे। इधर बर्मिंघम में ट्रेनिंग आया, अभी ठीक चल रहे। फिर उसके बाद अभी भी स्नैच तो पहले से अभी ठीक है।
Welcome back. Good news today. The recent years have witnessed a rise in the number of young people taking to farming, leaving their high-collar jobs. So is the case with an engineer from Lucknow who turned his passion for growing plants and vegetables into his profession. Tonight's good news story comes from Lucknow. I leave you with that. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Jai Hind. Shubhratri. Namaskar.
It has been a career shift born out of a passion. From working out complex engineering plans in an enclosed office, Saurabh Tripathi has moved to the outdoors. The man from Lucknow left a career as a mechanical engineer to spend his whole time among plants.
बचपन से ही फूलों फ्लोरिकल्चर का शौक बहुत ज़्यादा था, हॉर्टिकल्चर का, गार्डनिंग का शौक बहुत था। तो बहुत ही कम पैसों में मुझसे कहा गया कि इस सैलरी में ही जॉब करनी पड़ेगी, तो कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करने का मन नहीं कर रहा था। फिर सोचा मैंने ऐसा कि कुछ ऐसा किया जाए कि कुछ अपना बिजनेस या तो चल के स्टार्ट करें, कुछ करना है नया।
Tripathi's terrace is his lab now. That's where he grows rare and exotic plants, using his extensive research into new techniques of horticulture. Then there is a nursery where he grows thousands of varieties of plants and flowers, fruits and vegetables which are also put on sale. Tripathi is more than happy training others in the art of growing plants in limited space. He also tells you how to make a business out of a hobby.
एक छोटे से स्टार्टअप से मैंने शुरू किया था। उन दिनों गार्डनिंग को लेके बहुत ज़्यादा लोग लखनऊ में उतना अवेयर नहीं थे। जब रियल एस्टेट ने लोगों को नई चीज़ें देना शुरू करी, जब लोगों को कुछ नई चीज़ें, नए प्लांट्स मिलना शुरू हुए, नई चीज़ें देखने को मिली, तो लोग धीरे धीरे अवेयर भी होना शुरू हुए। वहीं से फिर बिजनेस धीरे धीरे मेरा ग्रो करने लगा।
The one-time engineer is doing both, chasing his passion and making enough money to keep the fires burning at home. Bureau Report, India Today.
NASA beamed doctors into the middle of the International Space Station while they were physically on Earth. This might seem like a scene from a sci-fi movie, but this technology now exists. NASA tried this new method to ensure medical help is provided to people in adverse situations. This is being called the first holoportation handshake from Earth in space. So what is holoportation and how does it work? According to NASA, it is a capture technology that allows high-quality 3D models of people to be reconstructed, compressed, and transmitted live anywhere in real time. When these images are combined with mixed reality displays such as HoloLens, it allows users to see, hear, and interact with remote participants in 3D. The technology gives a feeling as if the person is right in front of you. NASA says that the technology could be highly effective in deep space where communication lag is a major problem due to the immense distance between Earth and other objects. Using the Microsoft HoloLens Kinect camera with custom software, NASA flight surgeon Dr. Joseph Schmid and their teams were holoported. They interacted with astronaut Thomas Pesquet in a two-way conversation. Holoportation is not new. It has been in use since at least 2016 by Microsoft. But this was the first use in such an extreme and remote environment as space.
You are watching India Today. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Presented by Green Lamb Laminates, Har Gustakhi Saaf. Co-powered by HDFC Bank Parivartan, a step towards sustainable progress. In association with Hetic Fittings, make your furniture work beautifully. Offer पे offer सिर्फ कल्याण ज्वेलर्स में.
China's unambiguous message to the United States. China releases a video of its military exercises. China warns the United States, don't play with fire.
While some country has repeatedly emphasized the principle of sovereignty over the issue of Ukraine, it has incessantly challenged the sovereignty of China over Taiwan and even deliberately created tension in the Taiwan Strait.
US Speaker Nancy Pelosi reaches Singapore. Will she visit Taiwan during her Asia tour? Will the US fighters and Navy escort her to Taiwan in the next 24 to 48 hours? That's our top focus on India First. Is China preparing for a major military escalation? China has just carried out a series of military drills and exercises. But are these military drills and live firing exercises a part of the 95th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army? Or are these exercises aimed to send a very clear military signal to the United States of America amidst reports that US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may just be landing in Taiwan in the next 24 to 48 hours? I'm Gaurav Sawant. Are China and the United States now on a major collision course? Are war clouds on the horizon? We get to the latest, but first, as always, the headlines on India First. Political war breaks out over Shiv Sena's loudest voice, Sanjay Raut's arrest.